It's okay to be afraid. As a matter of fact, if you weren't afraid, one has to question whether you would really be giving due respect to the situation that you're dealing with. But even though it's okay to be afraid, it's sadly not okay to shirk your responsibility simply because you do feel afraid. You see, you seem to be dealing with the situation right now that's requiring, well, that you kind of go through a bit of a dark night of the soul. But those dark night of the soul experiences are basically transitioned through because ultimately you are the one that carries the light through that dark night of the soul. And if you're sitting back in relation to this specific situation that you're dealing with, and you're kind of going, yeah, but that's going to require that I confront this, or that's going to mean that I look at that thing that I don't really want to look at inside of myself, or there's too big of a vulnerability, but that's between me and, basically coming through with what I need to do for this scenario. Well, you're just not going to be carrying the light through that situation. And it takes practice and it takes a constant reminder and it takes help from, people that are close to you. And I'm always willing to help you with any of these scenarios that you might be dealing with. Astrology is really an excellent way to get to the root of a lot of life's difficulties. And if you want to schedule an astrological consultation with me, there's quite often a special offer or two available on my services page, which you'll find just above. But you see, we have to confront that vulnerability because it never becomes a strength until and unless we do. And right now, you're in a position where the thing that's standing between you and excellence and really doing the right thing by yourself and by everybody else that's involved in this situation is fear and insecurity. We don't like the unknown. And sometimes we don't really like the known either. And I know that sounds kind of humorous, but really that's the case. Sometimes we take a look at something that's a known and it bothers us so much that we immediately make it an unknown. And that's why we have, well, this light and the dark side within us. Now, I don't mean necessarily good and evil. I mean that part of us that we're aware of and that part of us that we, well, maybe rather not be aware of it because, it means taking a good hard look at ourselves, right? And so those things that we know, sometimes we put them in a certain place. And then, it's pretty interesting to me that this energy is coming up around Halloween. But, it's maybe that there's this ogre standing between you and coming through in a particular situation. But that ogre that you're afraid of is really on a certain level being created by you. And within yourself, you have maybe had a memory of a situation before where things didn't go so well, or things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, or you had responsibility on your shoulders and you weren't able to really do your best for the situation for whatever reason, shape, or form. And because you have that memory, well, one part of you just doesn't really trust that that's not going to happen again this time, right? And so you kind of develop a bit of an avoidance mechanism that goes, I don't want to go through that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to confront it. But here's the thing. Fear tends to wear a mask that we give to it. So if you take a look at your fears and you remind yourself of how ultimately scary they are over and over and over again, well, is it any surprise that they're going to be pretty damn scary? And then sometimes when we actually confront those fears, like, head on, we go, oh, it's just somebody wearing a mask, and that somebody is you. Okay. And sometimes when you remove that mask that's keeping you from standing in your strength and really excelling, miraculous things happen. And the only thing that was keeping you from being able to do that was A, either a fear of taking a look at yourself, or B, a fear of dealing with the situation because you were afraid of how well or not how well you were going to be able to cope with it. So you have a responsibility to the moment with this full moon and Ashwini situation. And one part of you just needs a little bit of self-assurance. As I mentioned before, I'm happy to help with that self-assurance through my astrological sessions. They're on sale right now. You can schedule with me at the link above if you really wish to. But sometimes it just takes trusting. Sometimes it takes being okay with messing up. Sometimes it takes falling down and scraping your knees before you learn how to stand on your own 2 feet. So, right now, something is calling you forward. It's the situation that you're dealing with in this present moment. Do us all a favor and don't let the darkness dim your light. Thanks a lot for watching this video on the full moon in Ashwini Nakshatra that takes place on the 17th of October, 2024. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.